Hello, good evening. Welcome to Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen. I am Jennifer Reeves.
I'm Hendrik Scott, and we are two licensed sex therapists here to help you out with your sex life, with your romantic life.
Your romantic life. Today's going to be a little bit more on the romance side of things. A little bit sex light today, but that's okay. We're going to still have fun. As you might be able to see, we are ready for Valentine's Day coming up. Yay! Don't turn us off. Look, we know Valentine's Day is super commercialized and not everybody is all like, yay, the day of love.
Because to many it's the day of despair and sadness.
Right. Well, I mean, and that's why like they invented Galentine's Day for February 13th. Have you ever heard of Galentine's Day?
Well, of course, yeah.
Okay. Duh. So we're going to talk about Valentine's Day. We're going to start off a little bit right now with what we recommend to all couples, whether you've been, and this is for the first part, we're going to talk about couples, then we'll talk about our single people, all of our single ladies, and our single men.
And others.
All the gender representations.
Yeah.
But if you are in a relationship, whether it's just a couple of months old or 10 plus years old, we definitely recommend talking to your partner about your Valentine's Day hopes and dreams and expectations.
Yes, I hear a lot. I hear it from friends and from clients. They may have, like, some people may hate Valentine's Day and hate the whole concept, and then maybe things change. Maybe you had a hard year the year before and you need a reason to feel special. So maybe 10 years later, 20 years later, you might end up loving it or secretly wanting flowers, but you kind of don't want to go back on this big broad statement you made at like 25 of like, I hate it and I'm never going to celebrate it. Well, we make a lot of broad generalizations at 25 that we shouldn't be tied down to for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, I think I was going to be married and have 3 kids by then.
Ooh.
That didn't happen.
Yeah.
Any of it. So, nope. But yeah, so have that conversation. Bring it up. What are the plans today or, this weekend, since it is actually on a Sunday this year? Are we exchanging cards? Are we not exchanging gifts? Are we going on a date? What are the protocols here?
Yeah.
And I think you had found something really interesting.
Oh, I did. Thank you for reminding me. I was like, what was it? So cards. So people are kind of all over the place on cards. I get the sentiment. I mean, they're words and they're valuable and they're down forever. Like you can read the words forever. They don't, they're not just said and float away into the air. Yeah. So Hallmark Valentine's cards are easy to find for a monogamous relationship. Not so easy to find whenever you're in an open relationship or maybe the poly community.
Yeah.
I found, and I will link it down below, and someone remind me if I forget. Thanks. There's this woman on Polyphilia. It's a Facebook. She is creating greeting cards or Valentine's Day cards for people in polyamorous relationships. So it'll say
really cool.
To our husband, to our boyfriend, to our wife, to our girlfriend, to my metamor, to it has all the polycule.
I like that name, metamor.
Yeah, all the polycule titles that can happen, and you can like wrap it up in one big nice bow and not have to go down Hallmark and be like, ugh, none of this matches what I'm
Let me
looking
change
for.
this word, scratch.
Yeah.
No, I love that idea. I think that's really cool that somebody's actually doing that. That's really neat.
Yeah. God, and then for our swinger communities.
Yeah.
They've been hit real rough by the pandemic.
Oh, I know. I have several of my friends that are like, yeah, we haven't been able to get out there this year because, we're trying to be really safe and everything else. And even the ones that we might visit with regularly, we're still taking a step back from that. So yeah, they're itching, not from anything bad. I said that, I was like, not from gonorrhea.
Not from gonorrhea. They're not.
They're just ready to get back out there and start sexing up other people.
Yeah. They are. I feel really bad for them.
Yeah. I mean,
because it's always been kind of hard to break into that community, and it's on purpose,
Right.
And the BDSM community as well.
Yeah.
So it was already difficult to kind of like get your bearings. Now it's what do you do?
Yeah.
And there's apps and stuff, but
Yeah. Well, I mean,
there's COVID, so
it's still out there. the whole COVID and pandemic thing though has also really hit like the singles
Oh,
people.
yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
That goes. Yeah.
I became single right before COVID hit, and so started dating during the loving the time of COVID. Yay! So that was definitely a really interesting experience for me. We'll probably end up talking about that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so talk about your expectations. Are you exchanging gifts? Are you exchanging cards? Are you doing nothing? And that's okay. Even if you do nothing every year, I still would tell you to go ahead and reiterate, hey, the plan is to still not do anything this year, right?
Yeah.
And just check in with each other. I think that that's important.
Yeah, and we wanted to give date ideas, but I don't know. I'm in the same boat you are. We're all dealing with COVID. Think of your own damn ideas. I don't know. Google it. So
I mean, I think what my partner and I are planning on doing, we haven't solidified it just yet because it also depends on weather, and it's also not that different from what we might do on any other Sunday. But after I get done curling, I'll probably go over to his place and we'll go fishing, and then he'll cook me dinner because I'm spoiled. And
see, that is a delightful idea.
Yeah, and then snuggle up on the couch and watch El Camino because we've been trying to watch that for the longest time and still haven't.
Yes. Like the dates don't have to look like anybody else's. Yeah. It doesn't have to look like Valentine's Day, previous Valentine's Day.
Right.
It can look like whatever you want it to look like.
Yeah, well, I'm a big, I've never been into going out on Valentine's Day because I don't want to deal with the crowds of people anyway, and definitely not during COVID times, but just whatever. So I've always been more of a cook at home and watch a movie kind of thing. So yeah, that's nothing out of the norm for me.
Oh, but also I was warned if we did give a date ideas and somebody catches COVID because it was a public idea, then they can come back and be like, Jen Hen said, and I was like, no, this is your own idea.
Understand that whatever you do, if it's out in public, it comes with a certain risk.
This is your own idea.
Not held liable for your choices.
Yes.
But yeah, I can't think of any other date ideas really. Going out is always a classic. Going to the park, having a picnic in the park if it's a nice day. Cooking at home, having a sex session. I mean, if you want to have some sex expectations around it and whatnot, then talk about that too. If you expect to have sex on Valentine's Day, talk about that.
Yeah.
Communicate it.
Yeah.
I mean, next month is Steak and Blowjob Day on March 14th. So
I forgot about that.
Expectation of yours, talk about that with your partner next month. So we'd say the same thing.
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
So that's for the people that are already kind of in relationships, potentially plural. But what if you're single? How, what are the people doing these days for Valentine's Day? If you have a brand new date and you're going on a date with somebody new or somebody that you've met online or whatever the case may be. So we're going to talk briefly before our first break about how to get prepared for that, right?
For a first date, right? And the protocols now are so strange. So you're already people who already have anxiety with dating. I can't imagine going on a first date during COVID, someone you don't know, and I mean, it must be
It was.
It was. I'm sure it was.
It was like, where do I meet you? I don't want to meet you somewhere too public, but I don't want to meet you somewhere too.
You're already female trying not to meet somebody that's going to murder you. So it's now you're you don't want COVID to murder you. You don't want the date to murder you. It's a whole murder situation, know?
Yeah. So, which actually brings us to one of our points. Do have an escape plan. And
let
people know where you're going.
Guys and girls.
With. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All genders have an escape plan.
Yes.
Because your dates can show up all kinds of special and unique.
Yeah. I was really lucky about that, where I would have to be talking to somebody for a little while before I agreed to meet them.
Yeah.
So that was helpful, and and then I always met them in public. No, I'm not going over to your place. Funny. And that's more if you're we'd recommend the same thing even if you are just trying to meet up for a hookup. Meet them in public first. You know, we recommend that, but don't have them pick you up at your place.
Oh, we were discussing that. People aren't really see. It was a weird thing for me because I was like, yes, people are rarely picking up people for dates now.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking back on my past, and nearly all genders have always picked me up, and I was like, what does that say about me? Like, I expect a horse and carriage at my front door. Thank you.
Or were you just too trusting? Like, did you know these people before?
Yeah, I have generally
like,
always known.
If you've been friends and you're deciding to move into that like dating territory, I think that's a little bit different. Or if if it's your regular bartender and he finally asked you out after you've been buying beer from him for like a year. Right. So it's somebody that you already might feel a little bit safer with. But if it's somebody that you've met on the app, or your friend set you up on a blind date, like, don't have them pick you up at your house. On the flip side of that, like, one of the things that I get asked about, should I bring flowers? Should I bring them something? And I've even had like some of the guys that I met from apps like brought me flowers on the first date, which was really sweet. It was really nice.
Yeah, gosh, what I think of that is, do you bring flowers or a gift is if it is like who you are as a person, if it is representing something that you do normally.
I concur 100%.
Then absolutely. And if that person hates it, then maybe they're not for you.
Oh my gosh, there is no bigger
you do
pet
you,
peeve
boo. Do you, boo.
Than like if somebody, now, okay, let's be honest, when you're going on dates, like, you are basically interviewing for a job. I mean, you're interviewing for the job of that person's partner, or whether that's sexual partner or a dating partner, or even marriage, if that's what both of you are looking for. So it's a job interview. So I get that, like, on the first few dates, you are putting your best foot forward, but that doesn't mean like go above and beyond and do something that you're not going to be able to hold up.
It doesn't mean be inauthentic or do all of these things that you think the other person is expecting from you. You don't know what that person's expecting, and already you're jumping through these hoops before even knowing this person and possibly veering away from you being authentic and being yourself.
It's
like,
so
that's
cliche,
a terrible way to
be
start
yourself.
off a date.
Yeah, it's so cliche, but it's cliche for a reason.
Yeah.
I mean, but don't, if you're not going to continue to bring flowers, don't bring flowers.
Oh my gosh, I just remembered in high school, one of my favorite exes, I said one of, Drew, don't be coming for me, woman. One of my favorite exes, I poured salt and pepper in his Dr. Pepper whenever he left, and he was like really nice about it and like kept drinking it. I was like, oh my God, what's wrong with my drink? And I'm sitting there laughing hysterically. It was a good first date. Like, we're still very good friends to this day.
Okay.
That was authentic for me. Play a prank on the person. Play a prank on the person and see if they can,
that's funny.
Take it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
an innocent prank.
Yeah. That's kind of funny. My current partner and we met at a park. He brought his dog, and he told me recently, I was like, so, because he's like, I know pretty instantly if I'm going to be in a relationship with somebody. And I was like, how did you know with me? He was like, our first date. I was like, why? He was like, you almost fell in the water and you were just goofy as hell. I was just really relaxed around you. So, y'all, I'm a klutz, and I will do that on the first date.
Yeah.
And when we come back, we will continue talking about first date, and then we may get into Hendrix is going to take me on a date, and we're going to talk about questions that you might want to ask the other person and get to know them better. All right. See you in just a few.
Aren't you tired of not getting what you want in bed?
Are you ready to spice things up behind those closed doors?
Woo! We're here for you every hump day at 7 p.m.
This is Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen. I'm Jennifer Reeves.
And I'm Hendrix Scott, and we are professional licensed sex therapists.
So remember to watch us Wednesday at 7 p.m. on Edge Radio TV, just in time for sexy time.
Are you a small business owner concerned about the downturn in the economy? Top business leaders like Mattress Mac and Warren Buffett will tell you that now is the time to promote your business more than ever. People need your services. Your business needs an edge. Learn about special advertising packages for small businesses right here on Edge Radio. Find out more, give us a call at 281-744-0446. That's 281-744-0446. Edge, because truth still matters.
Hey guys, this is Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen. Today we're here to talk about Valentine's Day.
Yay!
In whatever way that means for you, don't turn us off immediately if you absolutely hate it. Yes. Our advice is still sound just for dating in general.
I have a question for you. How do you feel about Valentine's Day?
How do I feel about Valentine's Day?
Do you mind sharing?
I'm just sort of about it. Like, it's cool. It's fine. I don't denigrate it. I'm sure I did in my 20s because, I'm sure I have words coming out of my mouth about that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. It's not my bag.
Okay. It's fair enough.
Yeah.
Just curious.
But I also don't know.
Yeah.
I'll try to do something this year. I'm trying to be like, all right, it's a pandemic. We need to be thoughtful and think about things differently than we have.
Yeah. Well, your partner also, I think, kind of likes the holiday type things a little bit. More than you.
Yes. Yeah. Not this holiday though, but okay. We'll see. We'll see.
Okay. So anyway, back to getting ready for a date.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, a lot of people, we're going to talk about, a lot of people feel really anxious getting ready for a first date. They've got the little jitters. What should I wear? I know, I'll be honest, like, I am definitely one of those girls that's like texting my mom and my sisters, like, what do you think of this outfit? What do you think of this outfit? I don't know what to wear. Well, where are you going? I don't know. So you should probably have that discussion with your date about where you're meeting and where you're going.
Yeah, like, are you going hiking? We're not going to wear this.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could. You do you, boo. You want to wear this hiking? You have at it. But you definitely need to know where you're going based on what you're dressing for.
Yeah. Now, if they're planning it and they want to keep it a surprise, they at least you need to let them know what to wear.
Absolutely.
Or an idea of what to wear.
Yeah.
So.
And I was just thinking, maybe I don't have dating anxiety because I'm always listening to music.
That's a good point.
Because I mean, I've been trying to be like, yeah, sure, dating anxiety. I don't really get it, but it's not a big thing for me.
Yeah.
But maybe it's music. Maybe it's the playlist part of like you pumping yourself up,
Pump the jam. Pump it up.
Yeah. Or that.
But that doesn't get you ready for a date? That's not the music you listen to?
Probably not.
You don't listen to 1990s like kind of hip hop?
Maybe that's it. Like, just have fun. Have fun while you're getting ready to put good energy into the date.
I agree with that. Like, I mean, put into it what you're hoping to get out of it. So maybe if it is just like we're meeting up to interview, if we're going to go back and smash, put on Sexual Healing or
WAP by Cardi B. Let's do it.
Yeah. If you're going out thinking, this is going to be the love of my life, maybe some Celine Dion.
Oh, God. From the Notebook soundtrack.
Oh, we played Titanic last time. My heart will go on. We're going to do that.
Yes. I still stand by that it was a documentary. I'm standing by it.
You're ridiculous. Anyway, but yeah, listening to music while getting ready, I think is a really good idea. Chatting about the jitters. Again, that goes into also making sure that you're letting people know, like, you're safe in an escape plan. Maybe you finally do actually turn on that Find My Friends app for your mom or sisters. I refuse to let my mom have mine, but I probably
there's also a bracelet now with the GPS tracker. Again, we'll link it below. Please remind us.
Yeah, one of our colleagues at Houston Relationship Therapy told us about this. She got it for Christmas from her family, and you can push like a little button on it, and it sends out a message to people that you have linked to it.
And if you don't respond within X amount of time, it alerts the police.
Right. Yeah. Yes. It's really, really good to have for men and women. Again, like I feel like there's this misnomer out there that like it's all stuff only happens to women. Well, okay, yes, like the vast majority. I'm not going to say that it's not. It is. That doesn't mean that there aren't some interesting people out there attacking men.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So dealing with the anxiety, maybe don't take a sedative or get high beforehand. I don't know. You do you, but I probably wouldn't recommend that.
One shot max.
Maybe, one shot max. Especially if you are going somewhere and you're going to be drinking with the meal. Which that's that's another thing though. How much do you drink on a first date? Yeah, okay, don't answer that question. I'm
just there to have a good time, man.
Apparently, I my mom raised me to be paranoid, so I have a 2-drink limit when I go out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I do not at all. But, I really respect that and appreciate it.
You do you.
You do you, boo.
So where are you going? Getting ready for it, anxiety, all of that stuff.
Yeah. So
anything else during like while you're getting ready before you're actually
I don't know,
moving
just
out?
Fucking or freaking just pump yourself up, man. You deserve to be pumped up. You are a prize to be won. I'm sure the person you're going to date with is a prize to be won.
Yeah.
Maybe it won't work out between you. Doesn't mean that you're not both wonderful people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
then we're getting into questions.
Are you ready to take me out?
Yeah, let's go.
Notice how I dropped that, y'all? Like I'm making her take me out. 'Cause I am a princess.
She is a princess.
By
the way, you got offended about being called a princess.
I did get offended by being called a princess by my significant other because of what I thought it meant. I thought it meant like, uber spoiled and stuck up, and I am far from stuck up. I'm pretty down to earth, she says, stuck upedly. But I do like my heels, and I'm starting to wear dresses a little bit more, and I like to look pretty and feminine, and
you do you, boo. But yeah, so we were asked a couple of times about what kind of questions should you be asking on a date.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not in what you should be asking, but maybe how you're asking.
Yeah.
Because there's appropriate ways to bring up kind of hard or difficult conversations.
Right. So I think, you first come in and you sit down and you're kind of looking at each other and looking around, looking at the scenery. So, what's up?
What's up? Yeah.
How you be?
It's okay to small talk for a while. It doesn't mean
I definitely think small talking for a little bit and getting a little bit used to each other.
And we started thinking about questions that we were asked.
Yeah, on dates.
Yeah.
So, I think you look kind of, you dress differently to me. What are you?
What are you? That is about the number one question I get asked. There's a second question that I won't repeat right now, but I am asked, what are you on a daily basis? Which is interesting because I have mixed ethnicity friends who are they get asked where are you from?
Right.
If you're a gender queer individual, you get asked, what are you? I'm an alien that dropped from friggin' space. And you're just like,
I've known you for several years now. I still think you're an alien that dropped from space, but it has nothing to do with how you
look. Someone cornered my sister years ago, and they were like, where did your sister come from? Were you there when she was born? And my sister was offended, and then she started thinking, and she was like, was I there when she was born? And I'm just sitting there thanks for talking about me I'm not in the room.
I mean, as colorful as Jupiter is, I think that's the planet you're from.
Yeah, but I guess that's on the bigger question of is it appropriate to inquire about one's sexual orientation?
And how do you ask about it if it is,
Yeah, I'm confronted with it a lot more just based off of what I look like. So a genderqueer pansexual like myself is going to get more questions. And then you said you were never really asked about your sexual orientation.
No, I'm never asked about my sexual orientation. That isn't to say, and I think I told you this too, that isn't to say that I'm heterosexual, but that isn't to say that I don't get hit on by women.
Yeah.
Gotten hit on by women multiple times, but I just am simply oh, thank you very much. I'm flattered, but
yeah, it's not the theme of your life.
It's not the theme of my life.
And I think it's totally okay to ask about sexual orientation, but if you're already on a date, you're probably privy to that they're there to date you.
Right.
So clearly I must be some form of interested in whatever gender you are.
But let's say somebody like me, I'm heterosexual, and I go on a date with a male, since I would probably not go on a date typically with a female.
Mm-hmm.
Is it appropriate to ask him if he is bisexual? Or would it be appropriate for him to ask me if I am? What would that be like? And so I think that would be an interesting question.
I know. See, it's such a common theme in my life. I'm yes, absolutely, I would ask that. But again, I'm in the queer community. We're always talking about our sex lives because we're we're just friggin' nosy. But it's also the intent, because I get asked a lot, or what are you? But are you bisexual with the intent to try to use me for my sexual orientation?
Correct.
Of oh, we're on a date, we're gonna go bang and have a threesome after this because she likes girls.
Right. I think that I agree with that. That was exactly what I was going to say. Is I think it's the intention behind it. Like, is this somebody that you're just wanting to have a sexual relationship with, and you're trying to feel out, can we have multiple people there, and what kind of people would we have there? I do think that it is a good question to ask later, even later on down the road, though, even if you are dating for, you know, potential marriage or a long-term kind of relationship, because you should know that. You should know if your partner is bisexual or not, or pansexual, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a valid question. It's the way you ask it.
Yeah. Like I asked you earlier, what are you? I probably wouldn't have asked that way typically. But
it kind of just comes out. I'm not offended by it, like, because I'm so used to it, and people are just genuinely curious. I don't want to like squash people's curiosity. I mean, what we do on its own, people are very curious about. So we're kind of used to answering really out there questions to begin with.
Well, so then, okay, so if you ask about sexual orientation, then I feel like a follow-up question that a lot of people would ask, or a lot of people ask this on first dates anyway, and I don't get, like, how many partners have you had?
Yeah.
I don't expect her to answer. And in fact, I don't expect you to answer either.
Yeah.
I don't think that you should ask that question ever, actually. In my personal opinion, is especially if it is somebody that you're wanting to have a romantic relationship with, you can very politely be like, oh, I've got some experience, or I'm not very experienced, and keep the exact number to yourself. Nobody needs to know your exact number. I mean, if y'all are open and very secure and you're okay talking about that, I'm not saying don't talk about it, but you've got to be secure, to me, first. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, no, I get that. I feel like I've always known, but I mean, again, I don't know, maybe it's a queer nosy thing. I don't know. We're just super like up there in your business. Or it's a sex therapist thing, or I don't know. I've always kind of known and been very open about it with partners, and they've always been open about me, like.
Yeah.
But that's kind of, it's my value system. If it's part of your value system to be sexually knowledgeable, then you kind of want somebody, at least you want to know your partner's not judging you. So if you are really experienced, you at least want to know that they're not secretly like jealous or creating something in their head that is like not, it didn't happen, or unrealistic, or
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I don't think you want to know all the dirty details necessarily.
I
but
absolutely do.
Okay, she does. I don't. But, you know, if it is something that, like, hey, I'm into this certain thing, have you ever done that before? I think that's a really good question. Maybe not on the first date, again, unless you're going to it's to meet up to have sex and not to have a relationship. But at some point, I do think that
so maybe the question we ask on a first date is, what value do you place on sex?
Okay. Yeah, I definitely would still think that that's
because if somebody's really judgmental, it's going to come across in they could word it in such a way that you would know.
Maybe don't make that the first question as soon as somebody says, what value do you place on sex? Hi, I just met you. I forgot your name again. But as you're talking, like if something like that comes up, I think it comes up a lot more organically for me though too, because of my job.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that might be a little bit different for me as well, and similarly for you, whereas somebody who is, say, an elementary school teacher, I'm not stereotyping at all, I'm just thinking about like that fantasy of men that have the fantasy of that peer. They're often either librarians or elementary school teachers. I don't know why, because let me tell you,
hot for teacher,
freaky,
freaky.
Yeah, some of the freakiest people I know are teachers. just saying. So talking about your sex life, maybe a little bit on the first date, but
more in like a value centered. What do you like? What are your thoughts on it? How important is it in your life? Because that's easy. It's just like, I don't really like to have sex. Like then immediately.
That's true. Like I would
compatibility.
If you are asexual and you're asexual, that's probably something to tell somebody pretty early on.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Or even demisexual. Yeah. What does that mean? Like, I have to be emotionally connected to you before I'm ever gonna have sex with you.
Yeah.
Like, there has to be that. Anyway, we are not done with our date. When we come back, we will continue to go over questions that you might ask on a first date, or questions that we think are important to ask on a first date, as well as questions that
or maybe just give them a little tweak.
Yeah. yeah, give them a little tweak or don't ask. So stick around, and we'll dive more into this when we return.
When people stop talking to each other, society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
Aren't you tired of not getting what you want in bed?
Are you ready to spice things up behind those closed doors?
Woo! We're here for you every hump day at 7 p.m.
This is Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen. I'm Jennifer Reeves.
And I'm Hendrik Scott, and we are professional licensed sex therapists.
So remember to watch us Wednesday at 7 p.m. on Edge Radio TV, just in time for sexy time. Hey, welcome back to Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen on Edge Radio TV. We are talking about first dates on our Valentine's Day special today. So going over questions that you might want to ask on the first date, and then we'll go over some questions that we recommend that maybe you don't ask on the first date. So we've talking about sex lives on the first date, right?
Yeah.
Another pretty hot topic, especially over the last couple of years, though, is politics. You talk about politics on the first date. So, who did you vote for?
That's one sure way to end a date. But is it necessary to end the date? I don't know. Again, we're back to value systems, and if it's that important to you, then maybe you do need to know.
I agree. I think if it is something that's really important to you, you may want to ask that. What are your political beliefs, or how into politics are you? Because you want somebody that's going to be at least similar in passion about that, I think, to a certain extent, or you want somebody that really just doesn't care and you're okay with that. But yeah, I mean, I know I put on my dating profile last year, if you like this person, please don't message me because I'm not gonna do it because it was that important to me.
Yeah.
I didn't care about the political party so much. Like I could go, I don't care about that as much. It was more about like this particular person I am not okay with.
Yes. Yeah, we've definitely gotten away from, we don't want it to ever be this complete line drawn in the sand where liberals, Democrats, or who's perceived as that, or Republicans, conservatives, are never intermingling.
Yeah.
Like we don't want a world like that.
No, definitely not. I mean, because you have to have the conversations, which we're not having enough of.
Yeah.
Anyway, as it stands, but I do
it's
think,
like it's like if you, is it? I don't want to date a conservative Republican, or I don't want to date someone who doesn't believe Black Lives Matter is valid.
Right. Yeah.
Those
exactly.
are two
well,
different.
That's true. Like
questions.
I mean, I would say one of the things that I've been passionate about is the LGBT community. Right. Like you know this about me. So if you say anything bad about anybody in that community, you are dead to me. Like it's done. Yeah. I am 100%. That is definitely one of my things that I'm passionate about, and I have lots of friends that are in that community. You will not be continuing this relationship with me because I don't trust you to be able to handle yourself around my many friends.
Yeah, I wouldn't date a homophobe either. So.
Yeah, no.
They wouldn't date me.
No, I have dated people who have been like, you know what, Jen, I honestly, like, I just don't understand the transgendered community or people. Like, I don't get it. And that's different. Like, you know, and if you come to me and you're curious and you're trying to understand it, and even if after I explain it to you, you're still like, I mean, I don't dislike them, but I still don't get it.
Yeah.
I can deal with that. But the hatred, no.
Yeah, knowing going in where your line is, and trying to make that line very specific to you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a lover and a fighter, but I'm not a hater.
Yeah.
So politics, I definitely think talking about the things that you might be passionate about, even politically.
Oh man, I just heard this. I was just talking with a friend, because Black Lives Matter was just nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah.
Congratulations, BLM. Somebody was just on a date, a friend. I was talking like last night, and the person was making fun of that, and she was like, "Ooh, wow, that's my line." She was like, "That was my line," and I was like, "I'm sure that it was." Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, and that's true. You do need to know your lines and what your like deal breakers are. Know your deal breakers.
Yeah.
Don't continue to date somebody if they're deal breakers. Similarly, so it's politics. What's the next one, Hendrik?
Religion.
Yeah, religion.
That one's a hard one because religion has generally been a line that is drawn very hard in the sand. And I can completely understand if there is like a very devout Christian who absolutely needs a devout Christian spouse. I completely understand that. Yeah. So I would get why they would need to know that immediately and need to talk about it.
I concur. I actually think that is a question to ask. I would probably ask it more along the lines of what are your spiritual beliefs?
Yeah.
And stem it that way versus do you believe in religion or what's your religious status or whatever. But what are your spiritual beliefs?
Or do you believe in God? Like that's like a harsher way of asking. Well, I feel like it pins people in a corner because then they're like, "Oh, what do you want me to say?"
That
and
feels like a judgmental question to say. Do you believe in God?
On judgmental on either side.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But also what puts you in the corner to go, now I have to perform and say things that I need to meet this person's expectations of me, and then you're not about to say an authentic thing, you're about to say whatever you think will make that person stay.
Yeah.
So then you might backtrack on your beliefs a little bit.
Yeah.
And we don't want to start a relationship off like that.
And again, these are probably questions that you might want to ask if you're looking more for a relationship. But if you're just looking to smash, you know, unless you're just not going to have sex with the guy or the girl that voted for Trump or Biden, like, don't worry about asking about politics and religion. Unless you're like, I just can't get turned on because you voted for this other person. Okay, fair enough. But
you don't want to smash the patriarchy, you want to smash the puss.
Exactly. Yeah. So these are more, we definitely want to recognize these are questions that you would ask somebody who you're interviewing to become a potential partner.
Yes. Yeah. If you're trying to get laid, I would steer clear of that.
Yeah. If you're trying to get laid, I mean, you're just going to be talking about like, hey, what do you like to do for fun? Which is still an important question to ask on a first date, but that helps people to let their personalities out. And, you know, people do get attracted to personalities and energy more so than just looks. Like, at least me, like the jock was never somebody that I could do just because they were pretty. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But anywho, so yeah, we are talking about that. Some other questions. Oh, this is a good one. When was the last time you were in a serious relationship?
I like that question. I feel
too.
like I've always trotted that question out.
But is that because we're therapists, or is that something you recommend people should
But
ask?
I did it like in high school and in my 20s.
Yeah.
But it tells you a lot about the person.
Yeah.
And see, people think it tells you a lot about the person's ex. No. I'm looking at how you're viewing your ex.
Correct.
If you're just like, they were a piece of shit and they did this, and they're just going off and there's no level of awareness or responsibility or...
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking at.
I think a good... Well, so ask me that question real quick. We're on a date. Ask me that.
What was your last serious relationship like?
How would you define serious?
Whoa, that's a therapist question right there. deflect.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah.
But it's an important aspect to it because
it's true.
How do you define serious? Like, well, yeah, I just broke up with somebody, but we were only together for a month. It wasn't that serious, but we were, officially monogamously dating kind of thing. Is that important? Or do you go, oh, okay, so that's a good question. When was the last time you were in a serious relationship? Well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And maybe talking about that and then going, well, with those parameters involved,
Yeah. What are you looking for whenever you ask the question?
Similarly to what you said, is this something I want to get to know about how you talk about them, but also I want to know, are you over them?
Oh.
Is this something that's still a little bit fresh? So are you ready for the kind of relationship that I might be looking for?
Yeah.
If you're just out of it for a month and they were the love of your life kind of thing.
Got you. Like, it's also knowing if you're going to be the rebound, which you have full consent over that. There is no problem being someone's rebound if that's what you're for.
There's nothing wrong with being a rebound. There's nothing wrong with wanting a rebound. Yeah. But just be honest. Ooh, we talked about that before too. Be honest. Oh, that leads to the next. What do you want? What are you looking for?
What are you looking for?
Be honest about it. If you don't be that douchebag that's like, oh,
world peace.
I'm looking to get married and I want 2.5 children. I don't know how you have half a child, but I'm looking for 2.5 children and whatever. When really what you're doing is, baby, as soon as we hit it, I'm going to quit it.
Yeah.
Be honest. There are plenty of people out there that are just looking to hit it and quit it
Plenty.
Plenty. You don't need to hurt the good girl that's like, I'm really looking to settle down and get married and have a family.
Yeah.
Don't break her heart just because you're a jerk.
Yeah. Move it along. Like, there are plenty of people looking for the same exact thing that you're looking for. Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. So be honest about what you're looking for. If you don't know, I know when I first started dating again, I didn't really know.
Oh, good point.
So
saying I don't know is good too.
Yeah. So my tagline was something along the lines, I'm looking to kind of casually date, and if it turns into something else, great. If it doesn't, cool. Like, but be honest about what you do know and don't know that you're looking for. And if you're dating somebody and you go, you know what? This is just going to be a sexual thing. I like you. I enjoy spending time with you, but I recognize we're not going to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
Let the other person know that so they have, consent over what kind of relationship they're going to be in with you too.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Exactly. Because at some point it becomes manipulative.
Yes.
And then we're getting in some really weird territory.
Oh, yeah. So what are you looking for?
So, this next one, I liked this one because it is important. Mm-hmm. Do you want kids? Do you have kids?
Oh, honey, I'm 38 years old. It's really hard to find somebody that doesn't have kids right now. So that is definitely an important question.
Yeah.
And where they stand with those values, especially if you are a little bit older, you only have limited time to be able to have a biological child. Hello. So that is something I think is a hugely important question, and trying to figure out, where do you stand with this? I have a friend, interestingly. So I have a friend who had a client, I think it was a client, that she had been dating this guy for 3 or 4 years. He had kids from a previous relationship, and they got married. and then she got pregnant, and she no longer wanted his children from his previous relationship to ever come around again.
Wow, that is okay.
Messed up.
Wow.
So if you don't think that you can handle somebody else's children for the rest of your life, if you want to be in a long-term relationship, do not date that person. That is, if you are, don't. I'm not saying, like, I don't think she's an inherently terrible person for wanting that, but just make sure that if you don't want to be somebody else's step-parent, don't date somebody with kids.
Yeah. And
guess what? They're a lifetime.
Also, if you know you don't want them, I was always very upfront. I said it every first date, every single one. I'm talking about from a teenager. I would sit down and say, I never and will never want to have children. You need to know this, and you need to know it now before we get any further. And of course, I always got pushback. I was like, you're too young to know. You know, you'll change your mind. And I was like, I don't think you understand. I am steadfast on this. I'm definitely never birthing one. That shit is not gonna happen. Like, no. Stepchildren be fine. Like, you know, that kind of situation.
I think you would be such an awesome step parent too.
Yeah. Just not of the birthing out of the canal with the it's not happening for me.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. If you don't want kids, or even if you don't know, be honest about that, because been there, done that. On the lied to for several years about somebody wanting children and did not. That's not cool, man. It's not cool. It's be honest. And if you don't know, it's okay to say I don't know, but just say I don't know.
Yeah, but I would definitely say appropriate first date question if it is very important to you, especially to, like you said, with age. If you're older, ask. Who cares?
Yeah.
You know, like do it.
Ask it. I mean, I asked it even like when we were just chatting online. I asked it before the date, to be perfectly honest, because I was like, if you don't want a family, like, I don't even want to try that.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Good for you, Jen.
I know.
Good for you.
I know what I'm looking for, y'all. Sorry, don't spit everywhere. And then kind of some of the other questions that we recommend you ask is about somebody else's family. What's appropriate to ask about the family?
See,
struggles.
I know. Again, like, we're sex therapists, but we're also marriage and family therapists. There's so many dynamics that goes into family, and if you don't understand family dynamics, the person could give, quote unquote, the wrong answer and be interpreted wrong.
Yeah.
Some people, if you don't have the ideal family, they're gonna like put that on you and like judge you about it.
So that's tough. I would recommend on the first date, like, ask about siblings and what's your, your parents still married kind of thing, but keep it very light. Don't try and go into all of the like, well, my brothers are narcissists too, like, sexually assaulted me. That's not what happened, by the way. I'm not talking about myself. I'm just being like, don't bring that up on the first date.
If you want to, sure, but we don't need to air out all of the family dirty laundry.
Yeah, I agree. Keep it generalized. So those are most of the questions that we have. When we come back, we have one last question that we do recommend that you ask, and then we'll talk about a couple of questions that don't ask those questions, and then we'll wrap it up and bring it home. So see you soon.
Are you a small business owner concerned about the downturn in the economy? Top business leaders like Mattress Mac and Warren Buffett will tell you that now is the time to promote your business more than ever. People need your services. Your business needs an edge. Learn about special advertising packages for small businesses right here on Edge Radio. Find out more, give us a call at 281-744-0446. That's 281-744-0446. Edge, because truth still matters. The Natural Nation Network is really about taking control of your health physically, spiritually, emotionally, even intellectually, because there's so much out there in misinformation. There's a lot of people now that are suffering from all sorts of diseases that they really wouldn't have to suffer for if they had better information. And that's what we're here to do. Provide information that can save lives.
The mind and the body are totally connected.
Health can be really serious, and sometimes we just have to lighten it up a little bit while we're still providing substantive information. And my sort of mantra on the salsa dance floor is kind of similar. I tell somebody, if you make a mistake twice, it becomes a move. Okay,
Tune into Natural Nation every Tuesday at 11 a.m.
Hey guys, and we're back for our last segment with Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen.
Yeah.
Today we're talking about Valentine's Day, but more specifically dating. So
Yes,
if you hate
first-
Valentine's Day,
first dates and
we
stuff.
got you on at least dating information.
So the last couple of questions to ask on a date. You had one.
That was important for
That was
me.
important for
yeah,
you.
I've always asked, where have you lived?
Mm-hmm.
That's really important to me, but it's because I've lived in about 1 billion places.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to you about our experiences around
Yes.
around the country, and what have you done? What was it like for you?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. It's important for me.
I get it.
Yeah, I
What
have
if they haven't lived anywhere but like Houston, Texas?
I don't know that I've ever had a serious relationship with anyone who was born and raised in one place and stayed there.
Interesting. Fair enough.
I'm trying to think back because I don't want to lie. Don't come at me, ex, if you're watching this and bitch. No. I don't believe that I have anyway a serious relationship.
It's a valid question. I think it's a good question. It's not as important to me. I mean, it probably is something that I might ask. Where were you born? Where were you raised, or something?
Oh,
like
right. It's
that,
because I'm
but-
probably gonna move. I need to know that. As I'm moving, I move often.
Yeah.
It's what I do.
You're never moving ever again. You're not.
Okay, but I have come to really love Houston. So
You're not allowed to leave me.
No, but even living within one city, I'll move
That's
all the
fine.
time.
I don't care where you live in Houston,
Yeah,
as
okay.
long as you don't leave Houston.
Okay.
I have attachment issues.
It's okay.
Obviously.
We won't play with each other's attachment issues.
Okay.
But yeah. So just knowing that I might leave, and I might need to know if you're coming with me, kind of thing.
That's fair.
Are you
That's
coming
fair.
with me?
That's
you know?
fair. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever plan on leaving where you live right now? Yeah, that's a good question. One of my favorite questions that I think people ought to ask more often is, how do you handle stress?
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, I know that's definitely from a therapist's mind, but I think that is a huge question to ask somebody that you're dating, so that you have an idea. Are you the kind of person that disappears for a couple of days when you're stressed out? Do you need to just go to the gym a lot? Do you get grumpy?
Yeah.
How do you handle stress when it comes up in your life?
It also, now I'm thinking, my wheels are turning. It also gives you a really good in to mention that you go to therapy.
Oh yeah.
Because some people are judgmental about therapy. I'm like, I don't need that. It's whatever.
Everybody needs therapy.
Everybody, therapists have therapists, all right? But
I
but
talked
no,
to mine the other day.
it gives you a really good in to go, oh, well, how I handle stress or cope with stress is, I see a therapist.
Yeah. Or I just go home and I drink the whole bottle of Jack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boy, did that used to be true for me. Yeah. Man, we were just talking about names. It was, anyway, okay. Anyway.
I was feeling it.
But yeah.
coming to me.
Also, if you're coping with stress is masturbation, I don't know. Maybe somebody needs to know. Maybe not first date, but
Yeah,
that is
maybe
how a
not
lot
first
of
date,
people
But I agree
cope.
with that. I agree with that. That is something that a lot of people do cope with. I like to to have sex before a big test or a big meeting. That's important to me.
Yeah.
You might want to know that in a relationship.
you might need to know that, otherwise,
Yeah. So moving on to a couple of questions not to ask that are maybe a little bit inappropriate are, you wearing any underwear? What you got on underneath that?
See, again, this is for the people who want a relationship, but if you're just
looking to smash,
yeah,
that might be a good question to ask. What are you wearing? What am I going to be taking off of you in 5.5 seconds?
God, okay, see, you saying it that way just sounded so creepy to me. But I could imagine
kind of creepy.
But I would imagine in the moment, if you're vibing, that somebody would be able to understand this is now the time to say this.
Right.
Otherwise, they're coming across really, really creepy.
Yeah, and any other kind of questions like that what's your favorite position? We talked about that. Like, maybe don't ask that question. Don't ask questions that are going to lead to like really heart deep, super duper intense conversation on the first date. Those are questions that you will continue to ask as you get to know each other. But keep it pretty light and simple on the first date. And then
trauma.
Give the signals and the signs, or talk about and I'm a fan of being asked at the end of the date, can I kiss you? Instead of that wondering, if I lean in, are they going to reject me or kiss me back? And and then how to handle if you don't want to go on a date. Don't gaslight. I know that's a soapbox issue for me. Be honest, be direct. Like, hey, I'm sorry, I wasn't feeling it.
So you would put that in the category of things not to say. If it's not real for you, if you have no intention of calling back, maybe just be like, it will.
Yeah.
But see, but then
don't say you will. Don't say I'll talk to you later.
So
don't say.
How would you say to go about that?
Well, so I had one of the dates that I went on when I was dating in the time of COVID, where at the end of the night he did lean in and I leaned back and or leaned to the side and ended up just giving him kind of a little pat on the back hug, and he said, I really enjoyed tonight. Can we go out again sometime? And I said, honestly, I just didn't feel it. I really appreciate the date, but there won't be a second one.
Yeah.
And he was okay with that. There are a lot of people that aren't okay with that, and then again, that's on them, not on you.
I feel like more people are okay with it than we make it out to be. I feel like we all just fall into this hole of like, I'm gonna hurt someone's feelings. Right. Well, it's really gonna hurt someone's feelings.
Gaslighting to me is so much worse because it leaves them going, I had such a good time. They didn't feel the same. And then that's why you have shows, where it's talking about like, well, why didn't they call me back?
Why didn't they love me? Like you could be hitting on an attachment issue that is a long, old, traumatic issue, and like now the person's like, I'm ugly and I'm fat and no one loves me, and you don't want to be responsible for that kind of
right. Just be honest. To be honest, if you're vibing, I've told one of the other guys that he wanted to go on a second date, and I said, I really did actually have a lot of fun on that date, but I'm feeling this is more of just a friendship thing. Like I'm not feeling romantically.
And if you have a therapist, practice saying no with your therapist.
Yes.
Practice on us. We're here to model behavior for you. And if you're just the type of person who just struggles with saying no or disappointing people or come practice with us.
Yeah, be honest. Anything else about at the end of the day dating you would say?
I don't know. I can't think of any. I'm sure there's a lot of, if anybody has some, please let us know. I'm sure there's a lot of really wild things that have been said at the end of dates that's creepy. Just all the layers of bad date.
Yeah. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I'm just a big fan of honesty. Like, be honest. Be honest about what you want. Be honest about what you're looking for. Be honest if this is going to lead to something else.
Yeah. Be honest with yourself.
Be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all of our dating tips for our Valentine's Day special. We hope that you got something out of that and are prepared for your dates. Some ideas that you might have for Valentine's Day dating, especially with online dating. A lot of people have been doing the Zoom dates. Play a game. You can play games together. There's several different game apps. Download them. You can play Phase 10 on the phone. It's fun.
Yeah. I got you.
You don't have to do everything.
That was what else? That was the other thing we've been asked. Dating apps. What do we think of dating apps?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So which ones are the good ones? So there was recently a poll that was done, or a research that was done, and I have the top 5 dating sites for actual relationships.
Yeah.
So number one should be no surprise. I think most people recognize this, eHarmony.
Yeah, and I see it. I have clients just refuse to get on eHarmony. They're like, no, it's too, and I'm like, but this is what you're looking for.
Right.
And there's something about eHarmony that just, I feel like it's the commitment, and it's like, well,
but you're saying you want to get
but
married.
you're saying you want a commitment, but you
Yes.
can't commit to the app.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Yeah.
So eHarmony is the number one. Match.com is number two. This one surprised me. OkCupid.
I've gotten actually a lot more clients from OkCupid. They're like, how'd you meet? Because I do premarital counseling as well. I am a hoot to be your premarital counselor. They love me, I swear.
I believe it.
But I'll be like, how'd you meet? And I always go, do you have a fake story and a real story? Because I want both. Because couples have fake stories because they meet under suspicious circumstances and they have a story they tell.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want both. And then they'll be like, I met on OkCupid. Or like, it'll be a lesser.
Yeah, like I definitely have friends that had met on a sexual site, like sexual fetish site.
Yeah.
And will just say that they met on a dating website instead. But, they met.
Yeah, but OkCupid, like I'm here for it. I've gotten more people in premarital saying that's where they met.
Yeah, number 4 is Plenty of Fish, which a lot of people that initially for a long time was just a hookup one, I'll be honest. But they've recently done a much better job about getting rid of the hookups and people sending like unsolicited pictures and so on and so forth. And Plenty of Fish is where I actually met my current significant other. So
nice.
Yeah, Plenty of Fish. I recommend it. And then Zoosk. Zoosk is the last one. I did not like Zoosk personally. I just hated the format of it, but I know a lot of people that love it.
Yeah, that one I'm much less familiar with. There's also, and I'm going to say this, but it's going to be dated by tomorrow, because there are like open relationship websites who also like can use like Tinder and stuff like that. But there was Feeld, Feeld, where you could, for swingers to try to find like hookups.
Yeah.
And then there was a 3, like the letter 3, and then fun.
Yeah.
So there's
for
websites.
The longest time it was Adult Friend Finder. I don't know how hot Adult Friend Finder is anymore.
I think it's so over now. I don't know. I think
it's over too. But that was.
But that's the hard part of trying to say like, well, we know what helps people get relationships, and then we want like the good hookup.
Right. Yeah, Tinder is definitely still considered the primary hookup site for singles or. Unfortunately, there's probably plenty of married people on there too.
Oh, and there's Lex, Lex. It's for queer, gender non-conforming, trans, all non-binary.
Well, there's also Grindr
people. It's kind of anti-Grindr. They actually do not want cisgendered gay males on it because they're like, you own the apps and this is our app. Like,
good to know.
they're like, get out of here. You have Grindr and we're all jealous of it. So you don't get this app.
That's fair.
But it's for the gender non-conforming people who are looking for like friends or relationships.
Gotcha. Well, Bumble has a really cool like feature. I haven't really heard a whole lot of people have been able to find, but you can have friends on Bumble. So you can find a romantic partner or you can find a friendship on Bumble. And that is kind of a really cool feature because especially if you're moved to a new city and you don't have a lot of friends here, it's neat.
Bumble has worked out really well for my polyamorous clients.
Really?
Yeah.
Good to know.
Because if you're polyamorous, you're generally also looking for friends as well.
So let's finish with our favorite sex position of the week. So I'm going to pull my Kama Sutram app and we're going to shake that baby. Shake. And the sex position of the week is called Crisscross. It's very interesting. So both people are sitting Indian style, and I think we have it up. Yes, yay, we have it up. And he's laying down in this position. Again, we can turn this. It doesn't have to just be male, female. You can tweak it to what will work for you. But
it's not only for able bodies. You figure it out. You do you.
Yeah, both sitting cross-legged with one person on top bouncing up and down on it. So
bouncing up and down on it.
That looks like fun to me. So try the Crisscross tonight. I am Jennifer Reeves.
I'm Hendrix Scott.
And happy humping.